Hey guys, it's March, which means it's time for March Madness, which means if you're a teacher, you probably see people posting about their Book Madness tournaments. I recently shared our bracket and I had a lot of questions about how I run it in my classroom. There are tons of ways to do this. I've seen people make blog posts and have products on TPT. Mine's very simple, so I'm going to tell you exactly how I do it in my third grade classroom. Again, you can modify this, take ideas, but very simple of how I run things. I have seen people who've turned it into more like of a writing thing of having to write why they're voting for each book or whatever else. I just do it for fun. I just think it's a fun way to reflect on books they've read, books they enjoy, and see who ends up being the winner each year. So yeah, all right, I'm gonna show you what I do. I like to put our brackets in the hallway because then all the kids who are passing get to see it and I don't know, they recognize some of the books and are invested. My previous students will come make their predictions and see which ones were in when they were in my class. So it's a fun way to get kids, you know, who aren't in my class involved. You could also do this school-wide. I usually just do it with just my class. So I have a bracket for chapter books, and I probably should just come up with a different term because we also throw in like graphic novels and whatever else maybe. Anyways though, so we have chapter books and then we have picture books. And I start with 16 of each. So you can see we've done one voting round so far. So these were our 8 of our starting picture books. The other 8, we've done one round of voting. So we have our elite 8 left. And here are our chapter books. And I'll talk about how we chose these books here in a second. To choose the books, I try to keep it as simple of a process as possible. So I've kind of changed it a little bit, but what I did this year and I liked it is I just told them we were going to be having this tournament and we were going to be choosing 16 picture books, 16 chapter books to be a part of the tournament. And I just had them, I'm like, I want you guys to think about some of your favorite, we started with picture books. What are some of your favorite picture books you've ever read? It could be ones we've read this year at school. It could be ones you've read on your own. They could be ones you've read in kindergarten, just any picture book. Let's come up with a list and brainstorm some of our favorite picture books of all time. I did that. That's how I did it this year. I really liked it. I know some people just like to have each student come up with a book and then they go from there, but I like just brainstorming a list. So for picture books, we probably had about 25 or 30 and I was writing them down as they came up with them. And then I made a Google form, I sent it out to them and I had them vote for their top 5 favorite picture books. That way I could get narrowed down to the top 16. Looking back, maybe I would have done maybe 7 books because a lot of them had like 2 or 3 votes. So for some of them, I just chose which one. If it was 2 or 3 votes, and I knew one was one we read this year, so all the other kids would have read it. I just chose that one. So maybe would have gone a little bit more. That way I could get some more votes for some of those books. But I just did, again, a Google form. I did the check boxes and told them they had to choose their top 5. So this is what it looked like. I just said, choose your favorite 5 books. So they went through and chose their favorite 5 picture books. I like doing it on Google Forms because I get the feedback like this instantly. So Big Bad Bubble, Peanut Butter and Cupcake were 2 of our top ones. Nerdy Birdie, The Good Egg, The Legend of Rock, Paper, Scissors, Llama Destroys the World. So I just chose the top 16 from there. And then we repeated the same process for chapter books. Now, once our brackets are set, I obviously print off the book covers, hang that up in the hallway. And my bracket part, I just took butcher paper and just traced it and made one piece, put 4 pieces of paper on top of each other, cut them all out. Then I had each side of the bracket ready to roll. And let's see, so then we have the bracket set, then every Friday through March. So if you watch this and want to start, you might just have to do 2 votings a week or just go into April a little bit. But every Friday we do a round of voting. So today's Saturday, so yesterday we did our first round of voting. And what I do is I send out a Google form. For my 3rd graders, I kind of explain how a bracket works and show them like these 2 are against each other. Whoever wins moves on to the next round. And if they have not read the book, I just tell them, think about which one you would rather read. Sometimes in the past, I've read like the back of the chapter book or looked up summaries if there was books they had no idea what they were about. So they don't necessarily, they don't have to have read the books to be able to vote on them. I just say which one you think you would like better. So again, pretty low key. So here was our first week 1 round of voting that we did yesterday. I did chapter books and picture books in the same form. I did the chapter books first, and then I did the picture books. I just did the drop down. So Wild Robot vs. Hello Neighbor went through. They just chose which one they wanted for each one or which one they would rather read if they have not read them. Again, I really like the Google Forms because then I can just look at the results instantly. We did have a tie here, but we had one student who got here after we had voted. So then I just let them be the tiebreaker. So anyways, easy way to move on to the next round. I printed out the winners' covers, moved them on to the Elite 8, and now this week we will vote for the Elite 8 and get down to our Final 4. and continue that process until we have our number one book. And again, the whole purpose is just kind of to create some fun behind reading, get excited about the books. They love cheering for the ones that maybe they nominated or ones that they've read. So it's really fun. And like I said, I've had former students when I was hanging them up out there, they're like, oh, Percy Jackson won last year, but it's going to win again. And I'm like, I don't know, my kids really liked Holes this year, so it's going to be a tough matchup there. So it's fun seeing former students get invested and seeing books that made it into the tournament that they remember reading too. So it's fun. There's no right or wrong way to do this. My second year teaching, we did this. I'll put up a picture of it here. It was very simple, just on a piece of paper. We drew the bracket. We did it between the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. Everyone nominated books, and we voted each week on paper. So they circled their choice. We counted them up. So just do whatever makes sense for you. We're one-to-one with devices this year, so it's nice. I can send out a Google form, have them vote, and have that happen automatically, the results, and kind of just show it to them and scroll down. So they were excited to see who won and what by percentage, and yeah. That is how we do Book Madness in my classroom.